Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Friday Sews. If you'd like to see my makes for this week, stay tuned. Hello everyone, I'm Deb and this is DB Designs and Sewing Australia. And a big welcome to my subscribers and a very warm welcome to anybody who's new. And first of all, let me thank all those people who have bought me a coffee on my Ko-fi account. That's really lovely. It's very much appreciated. So what have I made this week? I have completed my ginger jeans, if you watched the sew along for the ginger jeans, and I made those in a stretch denim that I bought from My Design when I was up in Bright, and they are in a fern green stretch denim. Beautiful fabric, really, really nice fabric, so comfortable. And I made the size 12 low rise and I graded to a 10 at the waist. Now the reason that I graded to a 10 at the waist according to the pattern is because they're low rise. So technically they're not supposed to sit on your waist, but they're supposed to sit on your hips. And so for me, the low rise sit on my waist, so I need to bring that part in a bit more. And I did end up doing 2.5 centimeter seam allowances on both sides. So the pattern was 1.5 centimeters, or maybe it was 16 mil. Might have been 16 mil, which technically is 5/8 of an inch. Most just do 15 mil or 1.5 centimeters, and so I did 2.5 centimeters, so that's an extra 4 centimeters off the width of the pants and got them to fit. But the idea of your jeans is you make the back, you make the front, and I sew the inner leg, and then before I overlock or top stitch the inner leg, I do a temporary seam on the outer leg so that you have the opportunity to change it. And you've got to take that seam on the outer legs out anyway to be able to do the top stitching with ease on the inner leg. So it's going to be pretty hard to top stitch it if you've got the side seam sewn up, jamming that under your sewing machine. So it's much easier to do it as an open garment before those side seams are sewn up, but I do temporarily sew it. And when I say that, my machine goes up to a length of 5, and so I do a length of 4.5, and I don't backstitch or anything like that, so it's really easy to pull out, really easy. So really, really happy with those ginger jeans. I will insert photos, and what I'm wearing today is actually my ginger jeans. I'll put a photo in, and a Trudy turtleneck in a, probably not coming up the real colour on the camera. It's an aubergine colour, and also the Hovea or however you say it, jacket by Megan Nielsen. And this is quite an oversized jacket. I actually made the size 8. And it is plenty big enough. The sleeves are actually the right length for me. And then I made a whole lot of bias tape. I've got so much bias tape now in this fat quarters, except for one very back bit where I just popped a bit of gingham in there just for something different. So I wore this jacket today when I went out. I love this jacket. I must admit, on camera, it looks a bit dressing gownish, but it doesn't seem like that when you actually wear it out. So now this is fabric that I got from the fabric store in Collingwood, Brunswick. It's all the same area. So in the fabric district of Melbourne. So we've got a fabric store. It's the same fabric store that I bought this merino wool from too. Other than that, I buy it online. Sometimes that comes from New Zealand. So I've got a fabric store in New Zealand as well. And the fabric is, it looks like it's quilted, but it's sort of embossed. So that's the right side. This is the wrong side. It's not terribly, terribly thick. I had decided this was what I was going to make with this fabric, and that I needed some sort of a contrast trim. And I had some fat quarters that I'd got from Spotlight in the batik fabric, because I love batik fabric, except that get, I want to say 10 fat quarters, like big pieces like this, in the bundle, and I made them all up foolishly. I've got like more than 30 meters of bias tape left, so I'll be looking for other things to put that on. So I made the size 8 in this. It was fabric from my stash. I've actually had, I think I bought this fabric, let me just see, when I made those other 3 jumpers, May 2023. So I've had this fabric for 12 months. And it's cold and I don't want to put the heater on. Like, it's actually a sunny day. I don't really open the curtains much in my sewing room because I don't want it to fade and ruin my threads and fabrics. So, and it faces south. So in Australia, if your windows are facing south, you're not going to get much sunlight come through it. You get natural light, but not much sunlight. But I wanted something that I could wear that was really comfortable, that was sort of a coat, but not really a coat. So this is not lined. It's just all overlocked. And I cut the bias tape 2 inches wide. And I didn't fold that in half. I sewed it on with a 1 centimetre seam allowance, and I sewed it onto the right side of the fabric, and then I turned it over and turned over another centimetre underneath, and I hand sewed all of this bias tape all the way around the sleeves. The only place I didn't was on the pockets, and that's when I thought, oh, I'll give it a try, see what the machine stitching looks like. And it looks fine, but that's on a, even though it's on an angle, it's a straight piece. So much easier to sew than all the way around where your jacket's very curved on the edges and all of that. So that way you could manipulate the fabric better if you were sewing it by hand. And it probably took me an hour and a half to hand sew all of that in place. Really, really happy with it. Very, very happy with the jacket. It's lovely. And it's fast. It's very fast sew, because you've only got 2 fronts, 1 back, sleeves, and the pockets. And the pockets form part of the bottom. So when you're looking at the pocket like that, that's just laid on top and stitched into the side seam and into the front where it's held by the bias tape. So very, very happy with that jacket. So what else have I been sewing? I made an Atelier Jupe Zoey Blouse. Now I made the Zoey Blouse by Atelier Jupe in an autumn visco from the Dahlia Sewciety that I bought last year. Now when I made it, I did do stay stitching on the neck, but it was still, man, it was big in the neck. And big in I don't think it's the neck that's the issue. I think that my distance between here and my bust needs to, even though, you know, you think your boobs are low because you're old, here is all just way too big for me. So in the end, I took the facing out. I took the shoulders up. I adjusted the sleeves, raised them back in, and I actually did a bias tape on the neck rather than the facing. So It's a lovely blouse and it's got really lovely sleeves. And I thought it would actually go really nicely with the green ginger jeans. So pretty happy with that. I made the size 42. And I don't think I should size down. That fits in the bust and it fits around the hips. I think if I size down, it's going to be too small. So it's just the neck. No, I didn't do French seams. I was checking to see if I did French seams and I didn't. I just did overlocked seams, a nice hem. Really, really happy with it. But it's way too big in the neck, but that's not the pattern. That's me, because I see other people have things fit them and they're always too big in the neck on me. I think I must just be turning into a scrawny old bag. So I'm sure some of my children would agree with you if you thought that. So I made a size 42 because I based it on the bust measurement, because the waist and the hips usually always fit. They're never usually a problem. Yes. And so I will insert photos and you can actually see that it fits actually really well. And you wouldn't want it any smaller in the bust and the hips. And I have narrow hips anyway, so when you go to make this top, if you're going to make this top, and it is this top, it's very pretty. She looks lovely in it. Just be aware that you really need to make sure that it's going to fit around your hips. Even if you go by the finished measurements, which I'm sure it would have the finished measurements in here. Skip to the back with the English part in it. Yes, it does have the finished measurements. Says the finished measurements are 112.6 centimeters. Well, my hips are only 99. So my suggestion to you is, unless I did bigger seam allowances, I don't think I did. My suggestion is that you can actually measure the pattern. You know how far down it's going to come, where you're at your widest part, measure, and then measure the pattern piece and make sure you don't need to just grade out a tiny bit to make sure it's going to fit you. It's a shame to ruin fabulous fabric, because it's not necessarily the type of top that you would do a toile for. Like, it's a pretty simple top. You can see from the line drawings, bust darts, nice sleeves with a puff on the end. Yeah, so just, if you're going to make it, make sure it's going to fit you in the hips. Now, the next thing I made was the Karla Loungewear Set by SwimStyle Patterns. And I had seen that Ruan had made it, and it was really, really big. And I don't think, I wouldn't be able to tell from that. Anyway, that's the picture. And she looks stunning, but she's probably 20 years old, so that'd be why. It is apparently very, very oversized. So I actually made the size small. When I saw the pattern pieces and I actually measured the pattern pieces, I measured them in the hips and I measured them in the bust. And the size small must have been like my exact measurements. And because it's in a knit fabric, it needs to have, it's not really got any negative ease in it. So I'll show you here. It's another one that's an easy make. And I really need some of these. And this was some fabric that I'd bought from Lush Fabrics in Western Australia. It really is, you can see it's quite see-through. It's not a very heavy, I probably never checked the GSM on it when I bought it. I really like them, but as a set, I think I look like a giant blue teddy bear in it. So, So the fabric's not very thick and it doesn't really have terribly much recovery. Oh, I suppose it does. It is a bit stretchy. But loving these pants. Love the pants. Fabulous. So I didn't make the tie in the front on the pants. Let's be wearing the top over it anyway. So you can see how wide the piece of elastic is that I've got in there. But it just sits really nicely. You could just do a yoga waistband and they would stay on. Very, very nice. I thought they'd be miles long. And I don't think I took up the legs, did I? No, and I don't think I took up the legs. I just thought, well, it is what it is. I'll just chop them off because they're a little bit flared towards the bottom, but they're pretty much, that is what it is. And I honestly only cut off like 2.5 centimetres. Pretty good for me. And it's only got a little hem on it. So I didn't even overlock the edge of that. I think I might have used Mariflex on the hem of this, thinking that my foot going through it and stepping on it might break the stitching, but I don't use Mariflex on very many things. I try to keep it for things that it's absolutely necessary for. So that's the Karla pants from the Karla Loungewear Set. And this is the top. So I did put a little cord in the front to pull it up. It's basically just a shoelace. Now, I didn't have enough fabric for all of this. And so I had to add it onto the sleeve. And so I sort of made the sleeve gather into it a little bit. But when you've got it on, you really can't tell. And this is an elasticated sleeve, which is very handy if you're doing dishes or got your hands in water, I must say. And I've made it tight enough so it actually does stay up when you pull them up. But yeah, just a basic top. Can't remember what the bottom was supposed to be like. And I think out of 5 pieces that I had left, I can see all these seams in this bottom section that I just sewed on. And to make this part in the front have the little split, I made one of the joins in the fabric in that front, stitched it and left a space, then turned them back and top stitched them down, and then just overlocked the whole lot onto the bottom, and I was able to put a cord through. So it was an easy way to put the cord through, and really happy with that. I will be making another one, probably in a heavier, more winter-like fabric. I always think I really like French terry, but I don't know that it's terribly warm. I know it's got the loop back, and I make the kids things in it, but it's sort of, I think it's nice for a hoodie or a wind cheater that you wear maybe a jumper underneath. So that's what I've been up to this week. I have got cut out and ready to go a few other things. I've got an all-in easy fit shirt with a stand collar, the Ash jeans by Megan Nielsen, and a Charlie sweater by Atelier Jupe. So that's what I'll be making up this week. I've just gotten back from JackStock Haberdashery in Moorabbin. Now they've got a big sale on where you can actually go to their factory. I'll just show you some of the things I bought. Oh, and you'll probably notice I've got all of my postcards displayed. Probably not a very good background to put them on again. It's just a waste not to have them up. And my mood board is looking a bit sad over there. Still got 2023 on it. And it's got a whole lot of photos of kids and grandkids on it. So, what did I get from JackStock? Now I did buy a fair few zips because Phoebe keeps on asking me when she makes things I sew the zip in, and she says why isn't she sewing the zip in? I don't want to say because I don't want you to break my sewing machine, but I thought I would get her some zips so that she could practice sewing zips in. So the first thing I got was some more hooks. Now these are a pattern hook, and when you make patterns in card, like I've got all of my aprons and other things that I make all of the time that are in card, just draw around them and cut them out. You punch a hole in them, you hook it on here, and then you hang it up on a rack, or you can hang it on the wall because that will sit flat on the wall. So I got some more of those because I've got some of them. Oops. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more reels of overlooking thread. Now I think the ones with the orange base in them were $4 each. Okay, those hooks were $1 each. These 6 were $4 each, and these ones might have been $5 each. I think these were a bit dearer. Oh no, they were like $2 each. So, and one of the ladies that I met there told me that it's quite good thread. So I got that. I got some more small purple ones, and they were pink dots, so they were $1 each. Thread, which I do use on my overlocker, these ones 50 cents each. Bag of buttons, green dot, I think they were $2 each. $1 for this pack with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, with 10 zips in it. 10 zips. I'm sure purple, oh, maybe purple was $3, but 10 zips, can't go wrong. Red dot is $2 for these 10 zips. So these are going to be zips that Phoebe can practice with. I'll give her probably some quilting fabric, if I haven't cut it all up for bias binding, and get her to practice. Now I bought some of these very nice jean zips. Now they're not YKK zips. But they still work okay. So I actually thought they'd be really nice in the top of a bag or a little purse. So I've got that sort of faded red denim look. How much were they? Yellow dot. Been $2. I think they were $2 for that pack of 5. And this is a pack of 5. Jean zips. Now they're not YKK either, but they can go in other things. So you've got jean zips that can go in other things. These have got a different type of tab on it. That sort of tab. I don't mind those ones for pants, not jeans, but pants. So I got 5 of those. They're red dots. That was $2 for 5 of those. $2 for all of these purple zips, 10 zips for $2. And it doesn't matter that they're really long zips, they're not invisible zips. So invisible zips, I do usually only buy YKK zips. Here's some red zips. And these are YKK zips, but they're not invisible. So, and I think they were $3 for 10. Here's some more zips, and these are YKK zips as well. And they are fluoro, so might need to make something where you can see them. And so I got 10 of those. They're red dot, so that was $2 for 10 zips. And I got these shorter mauve ones, and I think that's a navy blue or a black dot, can't really tell. And I think they were $1 for 10. I got buttons, which is a green dot, which might have been $3 for a pack of like assorted buttons in a bit of a neutrally tone. Coming in handy, and I bought some more safety pins. $2 for a pack, $2 for a pack. So gold safety pins and black safety pins. So altogether, I spent $62 and I bought all of that stuff. So well worth going. That's JackStock in Moorabbin. It's number 20 Keys Road in Moorabbin, and it's today, which is Friday, and tomorrow, which is Saturday. And I want to say 9 till 4. $10 till 4. So 10 till 4 on Friday the 3rd and Saturday the 4th, and it's open to the public. So I already have a wholesale account with them, but I didn't get any further discount. So anybody, open to the public. Open to the public, really cheap zips, really cheap thread, buttons, hooks. There's lots of needles there, as in hand sewing needles. A lot of assorted haberdashery. There was a little bit of elastic there, but a lot of zippers. So not all of their products are on sale. Not all of them. Just they're trying to de-stash. So that'd be what it is. But I've tested lots of the thread to make sure it was still in perfect condition. To make sure it wasn't just going to break, and it all looks really good. Because I've had thread that people have given me before that was their grandmother's. Well, thread deteriorates after a while, so, and especially if it's cotton and not polyester. So just be aware of that. It's no use putting your time into things and then it falling to bits because your thread's broken. I will be sewing the All-in Easy Fit shirt next. Then I will be sewing the Charlie sweater, and that's in a beautiful fabric, just beautiful. Textured graphic print knit. And then I will be going on to the Ash jeans, and when I do the Ash jeans, I'm going to show you the different way that the Megan Nielsen pattern puts the fly in compared with the closet core ginger jeans. They both work perfectly. I've got pairs of both of them. This is I think what I'm wearing is the third pair of ginger jeans. Yes, because I've got the navy blue pair, so dark blue denim, which are the high-waisted ones. I know they're way too high for my waist, but I still wear them all the time. And the pink floral denim that's supposed to be stretched that really doesn't have much stretch in it. And these ones, which are now turning into my favourite ones. So let's just see. I can't wait to have the red ones. Can't I've already cut them out. They're ready to go. So that's what I'll be up to next. When I was at JackStock, I met 3 ladies who knew me from YouTube. So hello girls. And one of them I went and had coffee with when we were finished. So that was lovely. Lovely catching up with people and meeting new people. It's a really, really good day. It was very, very crowded. I was supposed to be there at 10. I was there at about, like, by the time I got to park, about 4 minutes past 10. And so it had only just opened. Make sure you take your own bag, and trust me, you'll fill it up. What they didn't have out or on sale was any wedding dress invisible zips. Now, wedding dress have a much heavier coil, and you can get different degrees of heaviness in that coil in the invisible zips. Really, really important for wedding dresses, because you just cannot have your wedding dress bursting open. So most wedding dresses are quite fitted, and you need a proper heavyweight zip. So even when I renovate a wedding dress, I'll take the zip out and put a new invisible zip in, just to make sure it's absolutely secure. So that's all for me this week. Everybody have a wonderful week. I hope you get lots of sewing done. If you can think of any fabric that I should be making the Karla setup in. So the reason that I wanted to do it in the terry, French terry, is because it's thinner, and I think in fleece might look a bit more like a oversized big teddy bear. I really would love to make it in some cream or white cable knit, but then I'm just going to look like a giant polar bear. So, and I don't want to do just black. Let's make everything just black. And anyway, when you wear black all the time in a sewing room, you've got threads stuck all over you. So if anybody could think of any good fabric to sew the Karla set in, I think in the picture, well, she's got it on me sort of a rib knit, waffly rib knit. It's not the sort of rib knit that I've seen. I might contact them. Anyway, everybody have a wonderful week. That's all from me. Happy sewing. Bye.